Howdy folks, my name's Andy Curry. I'm with SuperstarsOfHorseTraining.com. One of the things we do is we talk a lot about horse problem solving. Horse problems can just be so frustrating for horse owners because what a horse is doing is confusing its owner and vice versa, and people often give up on their horse and give up on their dream. But I'm here to tell you that you can solve your horse problems. I want to show you a couple examples of some of the trainers that we have on our site and how they address problems and even prevent them from happening. Watch this first one.
Now, what's one of the surefire ways that I can create disrespect? The one I see the most often in my work with the horses and my work with the people, in clinics and seminars and private sessions and starting colts and restart horses and problem-solving horses, the one I see the most often is hand grazing. The most common way that horses learn disrespect with the human is through hand grazing. Now, I got absolutely nothing against treats. I'm fine with treats. I think it's okay to give a horse a treat. I think it's okay to think that we're loving them by giving them a treat. I think that's fine. And I think that they appreciate treats. I think they like them. All I'm talking about is not from my hand. I don't have a problem with treats in a bucket. I don't have a problem with treats in a feed bin. I don't have a problem with treats, an apple on the top of their hay. I don't got any problem with any of that. Just not from the hand. Why? Because if I do it from the hand, the horse in its own nature likes to eat. So sooner or later, they're going to get in the habit that I got something in my hand that they're looking for. Namely, something to eat. So what happens to my respect bubble, my space and their space, if they want to constantly start looking for something to eat that I have? They're going to be on top of me. And I'm going to completely lose what I try to gain in respect with this space. Now, you might say, well, how does that relate to the saddle? Because I always say everything I do relates to the saddle, relates to riding. So, how does that relate to the saddle? That relates to the saddle that if I'm not looked at as the leader on the ground, and I don't have the horse's respect as the leader on the ground, I'm not going to have it from the saddle. So I'll be riding along and that horse will just decide to go to the gate. Or that horse will just decide to graze. Or that horse will just decide to lay down. Or that horse will just decide to run off. The horse has not understood the respect. I haven't earned it. A big error would be I haven't earned it, so I'll start commanding it. Then I'm going to get a rebellion. See how this kind of snowballs? And it all begins with a very little thing, like having this bubble, having this respect, and go ahead and give them their treat rewards someplace other than from your hand.
Amazing, isn't it? Just the littlest thing can cause your horse to hurt you. And a lot of people don't even understand that and don't get it. Just the littlest thing. You got to see this entire DVD because it is bulging with great stuff, just like that. Now let me show you another trainer. This young trainer uses ropes to despook a horse. And this is something pretty much anybody can do. I don't care if you're 60 and female or male or whatever. You can do this, and it's important stuff. Watch this.
Starting out, you just want to drag an empty rope. That way it's no stress on you. It's no stress on the horse. It's easier to work with a green horse. Starting out with an empty rope, you can show him around a little better. You don't just want to jump him into something too deep. When you start one out, you want to start one out on a light drag, a light log, whatever you have to pull with. You just want to use your hand. You don't want to go to the horn right away. You see a lot of people that tie off. There's nothing wrong with tying off. I tie off in the pasture. But one thing you do not want to do on a horse that you're just starting to teach to log off or carry a rope or whatever the cause may be, You never want to tie off to your horn. If me and this colt get in a bind, I can drop my rope, hold the tail of it, let him get okay with it. Or if I have to, drop the whole thing to the ground where it keeps me and him safe.
Now this is part of how you teach a horse to drag things. You start with small things and you work your way up to heavier things. And there's a process to do this. So I want you to be real careful when you do this. There is a certain way to do it. And I urge you to not just do this willy-nilly. Find out how to do it for sure. Now what's the importance of something like this? Well, first of all, when a horse is dragging something behind him, it's always following them. And that kind of creeps a horse out when something's following them. And once they get used to that, it starts to take away that feeling of spookiness to them. And also when you're pulling that weight, they feel that on their barrel area, their ribs, their body, and they get used to that, and that's another thing that despooks them. You just be amazed at what this does for your horse's despooking behavior. I've even had a trainer tell me that they had a horse that was not exactly a nice horse, and when this trainer used this technique on their horse, it just turned that horse around. So, it is a great technique for you to try. Now, let's watch this next one.
Again, it's real important to let your horse know everything. No surprises. Do not surprise him in any way. He's more liable to booger, to spook, to try to leave the situation a whole lot more if you surprise your horse. After he's fine with this for a while, you can take up your rope, whether your horse is comfortable with it being close or far away. Like I said earlier, do not go straight to the horn. You want to be able to get out of any bind your horse gets you in. This way, I can let go, feed my slack out, and we're away. Where neither one of us get in a bind. He's doing pretty good. He's relaxed. He's calm. He's just easing around. He's not keyed up like I'm sitting on a keg of dynamite. He watches it a little bit, but remind you, this horse is a watchy horse. He'd had a bad experience from a previous trainer. He's just a work in progress. You take your time with one, you won't end up with a horse that's real wide-eyed and boogery and jump from everything.
Did you catch that last comment? I'll repeat it. He said, if you take your time with your horse, you won't get him all jumpy and wide-eyed. So many people miss that. It's so important. A lot of people will miss it, or forget it, or overlook it, or not take their time. That is really important. Now, here's what I want you to do next. Come on over to Superstars of Horse Training. Our website address is www.superstarsofhorsetraining.com. I urge you to sign up for our daily tips. Almost every day we send out a horse training tip that's ready to use that you can go out and try. And when you sign up, you get a free copy of our ebook called How to Bomb-Proof Your Horse. Nothing you can lose. Come on over and join us. We'll have a lot of fun.